Good morning and welcome. My name is Joan Cook and I'm a member of St Mark's Unitarian Church in Edinburgh. And it's good to be able to connect with Unitarians in Newcastle once again this morning. In these times of Zoom, you may be joining us from further afield than Newcastle, and you are welcome. Welcome to this, our time of worship, our time of community, our time for peace, reflection and renewal. Our time to connect with that which lies deep within us all. This morning, as I light our chalice, some of you at home may well have a candle with you and may wish to light your chalice. Consult not your fears, but your hopes and your dreams. Think not about your frustrations, but about your unfilled potential. Concern yourself not with what you have tried and failed to do, but what it is still possible to do. Now is the time to put aside past and present setbacks and failures, and to look with confidence to a new day called tomorrow. Those words were from a speech given by Pope John the 23rd. I invite you now to join with me in a time of reflection, to be fully present here and now with ourselves, with each other, and with that which is larger than ourselves. Spirit of life and love, we gather together in different ways this morning. We gather reaching out across the wires, waving from a safe distance. We come together in religious community. We gather as we are able, ready to be of service to the world, ready to build the community of hope and love as we face this morning. We are apart, but we are together, offering our love, our commitment, our hope and prayers in service to one another and to this world of which we are a part. Amen. Our theme this morning is time, and in particular, the gift of time. So to start, we have two readings. The first is from the writer Ursula Le Guin, a poem entitled A Hymn to Time. Time says, let there be. Every moment and instantly, there is space and the radiance of each bright galaxy. and eyes beholding radiance, and the gnats' flickering dance, and the sea's expanse, and death and chance. Time makes room for going and coming home, and in time's womb begins all endings. Time is being, and being is time. It is all one thing. The shining, the seeing, the dark, abounding. Our second reading, which will probably be more familiar to many of you, is taken from the Prophets by Kahlil Gibran, and it's entitled On Time. And an astronomer said, "Master, what of time?" And he answered, "You would measure time, the measureless and the immeasurable? You would adjust your conduct and even the course of your spirit according to the hours and seasons? Of time, you would make a stream upon whose bank you would sit and watch it flowing. Yet the timeless in you is aware of life's timelessness and knows that yesterday is but today's memory, and tomorrow is today's dream. And that which sings and contemplates in you is still dwelling in the bounds of that first moment which scattered stars into space. Who among you does not feel that his power to love is boundless? And yet who does not feel that very love, though boundless, encompassed within the centre of his being? And moving not from love thought to love thought, nor from love deeds to love deeds. And is not time, even as love is, undivided and spaceless? But if in your thought you must measure time into seasons, let each season encircle all the other seasons, and let today embrace the past with remembrance and the future with longing. Words from the prophet. The gift of time. Every school child learns about the Great Plague of 1665, and some may even know the story of the village of Eyam in Derbyshire. The fact that these events took place is so well known, even if the facts themselves vary. This is an indication of the importance the plague has in our communal collective memory. This made me wonder how we shall, in times to come, remember the times that we are currently living through. A friend of mine has been keeping what she calls a plague diary. A bit strong, but I can see her thinking. She isn't looking to publish this diary. It's probably more of a journaling exercise for her. But what she says inspired her to keep this diary was that the thought that in years to come, her granddaughter, now aged 19 months, may ask her, "What did you do in the pandemic, Granny?" And that's a thought. For so many of us, this period of lockdown has provided us with great stretches of time to fill as we wish. with no attendance at school, college, or workplace expected of many of us. No museums, libraries, or theatres to inform us. No shops, restaurants, pubs, or clubs to entertain us. Our time, as they say, is our own. Now, I know for many, this is not the case. For many, having to care for children or older relatives because schools are closed, services are suspended. For those having to work twice as hard to cover for shielding quarantined or isolated colleagues. And for those particularly working in the health sector, where they're having to help out in areas other than their own, on top of their own work and responsibilities. They have not noticed much free time. But for many of us, there has been time to spare. And what have we done with it? Well, like many people, my reaction was, oh great, no deadlines, no commitments, no requirements to be here, there, do this, participate in that. Bliss. I think it lasted for about 11 days. As it became obvious that this was not going to be a case of lockdown lasting 4 to 6 weeks, that this was going to continue for quite a bit longer, we all started to look at what it was we were doing and how we were going to survive this period of lockdown without access to our usual occupations and diversions. Many suddenly became aware of those on whom our society relies most and who in the past have not been acknowledged, who have been disregarded or not received the recognition of the value of their work. These people suddenly found themselves accorded the importance that they were due. For some, this period of lockdown did not come as an opportunity, something to be embraced. It came as a threat to their families, to their livelihoods. For many, the thought of weeks without work meant weeks or months without income. For some, relationships have been tested and not survived. People who perhaps thought their relationships sound have discovered in the testing conditions of lockdown that it has not been strong enough. Weak points and tensions have proved to be irreparable. For some, the stresses and danger of living in a damaging relationship have been compounded, with the numbers of domestic assaults rising to previously unknown levels, and again, with access to support organisations limited. Individuals and children have suffered. For some, learning to adjust to lockdown also meant learning to adjust to life without a loved one. In many of our families and most of our communities, there have been losses. Those who have been bereft are also having to suffer as the services and resources which normally would be available to them have not been available in many cases. I know that I and many others who have been called on in these cases have done what we can by telephone, email, Skype and Zoom. but they are not really up to the task. And now that personal visits are possible, I have heard some people say that it is only now that they are starting the process of adjusting to their loss. For some, however, lockdown brought with it blessings. Families caught up in day-to-day life could meet for chats and family quiz nights on Zoom. Those working from home could be there at toddlers' tea times, have coffee with a partner they usually only saw perhaps at the beginning and the end of the day. Some people learned languages, ran a marathon in their garden, climbed Mount Fuji on the staircase, or notched up 1,000 steps for charity. And many of us found our knowledge of using technology to communicate far exceeded anything we ever thought possible. But others looked out with their own personal experience of lockdown and could see that they could pass the time in a constructive way by helping others cope with the difficulties of isolation. As J.R.R. Tolkien said, all we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. And these people did decide. They decided to use it for the benefit of others. People who had retired from the health service returned to work. Some offered their time to local care homes. Carers and hospital staff left their homes and families to move into on-site accommodation. Many people who had nothing to give but their newfound free time offered that. They volunteered themselves and their time. Some people signed up for national and local volunteering initiatives. Some just went quietly ahead and knocked on the doors of those they knew to be elderly or at risk. Some printed off flyers saying they were available to help and just popped them through letterboxes. Many who had no idea who their neighbours were suddenly found themselves in supportive, caring communities of familiar people, volunteers and those in isolation alike. And one of the great things about this has been the intergenerational nature of these initiatives. It's interesting that in this involvement in volunteering, the volunteers have not been only the 50+ age group, as is more usually the case, but young adults, the middle-aged, and even children have played their part. The time that volunteers have been giving has been spent in so many different ways, from collecting prescriptions, newspapers, shopping, cutting hedges, chauffeuring people to hospital and GP appointments, walking dogs. Some have set up street apps to keep in touch, or manning local helplines, giving their time to those who are isolating, shielding, or otherwise vulnerable. The opportunity to chat on the phone, to listen, to provide a friendly ear. These are all important at any time, but in these times, even more so. There are so many sayings about time. Time is limited, time is short. We kill time, we save time, we lose time. but to be able to give of our time is probably one of the greatest things that we can do. John Ruskin wrote, "A fool always wants to shorten space and time. A wise man wants to lengthen both." Theophrastus, the ancient Greek philosopher, understood time as an accident of motion that cannot be stopped or reversed. And he said, "Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend." So with this experience of volunteering, connecting, looking out for the needs of others within our communities, is giving of our time. Will this continue? Or will it, as so many good intentions do, fall by the wayside in a couple of years as life has returned to normal? My hope as we move forward, hopefully sooner rather than later, into this new normal way of being, is that we will take these experiences and lessons forward with us. And those who have experienced the benefits of volunteering, perhaps for the first time, will continue the habit in some way or another. That children, young people, who have seen parents, siblings, neighbours and others volunteer, will feel that it is something they may do in the future. That those who decided to give the gift of time to others will continue to do so, albeit in ways that can be managed when the usual life pressures and constraints come to bear. And those who benefited from the time of others, they may feel able to give of their time to another in whatever way they can in the future. As our earlier hymn reminds us, to do so will help us as Unitarians to live our wordless creed. An idea of time that resonates with me is that expressed by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He felt that if we truly love something, we spend time on it. And as time is such a valuable resource, when invested, it makes the person or activity even more important. In his book, The Little Prince, Saint-Exupéry wrote, "It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important." Amen. Our time for reflection. A piece based on the words of Wendell Berry. "For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free." In this time of meditation, may you rest in the grace of the world. In this time of weakness, may you sense the strength of the eternal hills and rest in the grace of the world. In this time of failure, May you be upheld like the buoyancy of water and rest in the grace of the world. In this time of limitations, may you remember that the choices may be as great as the expanse of the sky, and rest in the grace of the world. In this time of insecurity, may you feel the solid earth beneath your feet and rest in the grace of the world. In this time of despair, may you hear the joy in birds singing and rest in the grace of the world. In this time of fear, may you feel the warmth of the sun and rest in the grace of the world. Like the cosmic dust following a great meteor, we are the living remnants of time and all that has come to pass in its wake, briefly shining lights on the way to eternity. We are only visible to the naked eye for an instant. Take this moment to shine like the star of dust that you are. May the light of our time on earth shine to bless the world and each other. May we shine, shine, shine. Amen.